Hi everyone. Hi everyone. So till just joins us, just I wanted to let you know why I started my series here. Is because I've been working with people for almost 2 decades now, like all of you know, and for me it was so important to let people help them come out of the emotional clutches that they were in. Because for me, I mean, you can get off everything with work. When it comes to the materialistic things, you can always come out, but I wanted them to work and enhance themselves emotionally. And I would tell them stories about people, how they came out of situations. So I thought that it would be a good platform. Hi,
Hi,
JAS.
how are you?
I am good. So good to see you.
Same here, same here. Lovely. You look so nice and bright.
Thank you so much. It's the sun. I guess it's the summer sun.
Absolutely stunning you look.
Thank you, Dad. And when you hear it from somebody else, it strikes a chord somewhere else. So coming to me for a therapy or a session is a different platform. But when you hear it from somebody who's gone through it, it connects you somewhere else. And
Mm-hmm.
because you've experienced it, so it's going to come out, it's going to touch that chord within you, and then it's going to come out from there. And
So
that is how I wanted people to come in, talk about what they experience, because that's how everybody grows emotionally, when you hear people talk what they felt and how they came out of it. So that was my one of my main points why I started these soul these sessions here, the stories with soul grounding.
no,
So that was it. So
come
tell
on.
us something about yourself, Just. Yeah.
So Jas is another human being, one out of you all, and I am somebody who doesn't settle for what I know, but what I don't know keeps me going on. And
Wow.
as it is, my profession is of dance and fitness and therapy, which revolves together. You know, the idea is that anything that can get you movement excites me. You know, so my entire work stays to the fact that I would love to see movement around me, and that's really exciting. Sometimes people do ask me that, just you don't want to be still, or don't you feel like stillness is also a boon? At the same time, when I say movement, movement comes with a byproduct called stillness. So I love getting still after the movement and not stay still.
I am
So,
sure. I mean, if there is movement, then only we ground ourselves. That the movement gets us
correct.
to the center. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's my major work. And I've been running a company called Shan Dacha. And it's going to be completing
Oh,
its
yes.
10 years. And it's a woohoo feeling
Wow.
for me.
Congratulations, a decade in
Thank
your
you.
pocket.
Thank you. It means a lot. It's been a long, long journey, and it's still so much more to go. But it feels nice to have a 10 number around you. And my entire work over the years have been to look out for options, as I see that movement has been the easiest language that I've learned in this life. When I say easiest, is the most effective language, that I've learned. Wherever I travel, wherever I meet people, I see that you don't need to have a lot of education sometimes to stay relevant. Sometimes just movement or wanting to be in movement can connect you to people more and much more
Yeah.
beyond.
That's the, I
Yeah.
think, the universal language.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So this is precisely what I do, and then you can check out my website and stuff to see what I do. I dance. So
I know.
yes,
I have, I was a part of your yoga class, and I remember how you just was like, come for the dance class and
I
come for the dance
chased
class.
you.
And you have some amazing team, your yoga teacher. So you have some amazing team. And I remember joining in one, two of your dance classes, and they were very high voltage for me.
Uh,
But somehow
Thank
I could
you.
connect to the yoga that you have there. And I know a
So
lot of
that's another
people.
one thing that I would really like to mention. Not everything sets in for everything. So maybe I don't like Karela and you love it. So,
I
we
know.
all have to try all the veggies to know which veggie works for you the best.
Yes. So coming back to just the same point that you do have, dishes for everybody. So I like the yoga dish that you have there,
I'm
and I
glad you
know
are
there are
putting the
lots of.
palette so well.
I know, but also I see a lot of kids coming around there, and it is
Yeah,
really joyful. I do not know the intentions of the parents why they send or what, but I really like it because body movement for kids is so important in these days. Yeah,
so true.
it kind of
Yes,
connects them to themselves because there's so much of
yes.
pressure academically and otherwise. And when you see them dancing beyond performance, for me, it was just joy to see them come to your floor there. Yeah.
How true is that? So basically, when I talk about dance Dacha, my entire concept of opening it up was to have a huge dance family. Because it came so easy to be in a family structure all my life. Touch wood, I've been blessed with a beautiful family. So I always felt the kind of learnings you can have in a family structure, they are way beyond than going to an educational setup or going to an artificial setup which is just made for education. So I left my corporate jobs way back in 2010, and I could just feel that 9 to 5 structures are not the things that excite me every morning, or I just want to like get ready and move out. The contrary fact or the dilemma that I was in is that everybody loved what I was doing at the corporate front, but I didn't enjoy my
Mhm.
work. So I used to always feel that is there a problem with me? Like nobody
Mhm.
has problem with what I'm doing. Nobody's complaining. They're all happy. Yet I have a problem with myself. So when I got into that phase is the time when I felt that I need something of mine to be extended, to be explored more. And I took a gap for 2 months because the story behind that is too huge and too long. I left like 6, 7 jobs before I started Dance Dacha. And, when I opened it up, I told my mom I need a family structure because I operate best in a family structure. So she says, okay, get a dictionary. Let me see what name I can find for you because I don't want studios and dance hubs and club or something like that. So she found this word called Dacha for me, which means a second home.
Wow.
It's a Russian word and it means a second home where you go for relaxation. So,
Interesting.
um, yeah, so Russia has these winter homes and summer homes that they shift on, right, for fun. So I thought this
Okay.
is what I want. This is what I really want, that energy. And so our people are called Dachniks. People who live in Dacha are called Dachniks. And that's how this whole concept started. And I wanted to start movement very early for people, like 3 years, 3.5, when the parents can trust the kid to be out. I wanted a place for them to understand that your child is safe, and yet we want to work on his locomotor skills, look out for the way that he's responding to movement, hearing different kind of sounds that can really work for him. So we wanted to be one place that we work after parents, before school. So our kids just started evolving because they knew that Just Ma'am and our teachers and Ritu Ma'am and all, we became family to them. And then the learning started. We healed so many kids. There were problems like my child doesn't laugh. And there's a problem, she doesn't like to smile a lot. Or there are kids who get very cranky with just, they can't hear no from their parents or stuff like that.
Oh,
So we started seeing that because we were in a position that we were loved, so we could start playing around with their minds in a way that they can start understanding, like playing a game where no is a problem, you know. So we kept doing
so
things so they understood that no is not a fancy thing to say. A lady came in and she told, a beautiful girl I'm talking about, she came and she says, ma'am, the only problem we faced with her is she never smiles. So can you just see if she can smile, or you can just record something that where she's smiling. So I could just feel the pain. I could feel the pain of a parent to ask me to get your child smiling.
for some time.
That's okay. So I
Yeah,
was just sharing.
you telling me about the girl who came and her mom wanted
Correct,
her. Yeah.
correct. So that happened, and I just wanted to understand the pregnancy time of the mother because there's a lot that goes into the foundation of a child when it's in making. So I always call these 9 months in the womb is like 90 years on this earth. So if that 9 months are taken
Ooh,
care of,
wow.
Yeah. So if 9 months are taken care
That's
of with a
nice.
deliberate feeling that I'm building something up, I'm building a soul in me who's going to survive for next 60, 80, 90 years in these 9 months, the kind of child you get out of your womb is he or she is, so responsible towards their life. And when you talk about responsible towards life, you'll see them making choices which are worthy of their life purpose. But most of the time, we see people suffer. Even at 45, 50, we sometimes get a child issue in their body, where their mothers had an impact on them or the dada dadi had an impact on them, which was not there. It is borrowed emotions that they carry. So we treated that little girl with the idea because she felt her father was too strict to
Oh.
even have a healthy expression in the house. So we had to
So
treat the father before the child.
So just this is so interesting. I never knew there were therapy sessions underlying the dance classes. I mean, for
Uh,
me, yes, of course, that's a beautiful space that you created, and of course, the energies they are beautiful. But I never knew you were, maneuvering therapy beneath this. I mean, this is what I just got to know right now, and this is
I
really
call myself
beautiful.
a happy gambler at work. So I
And
gamble with whatever comes my way. I never try to tell people I'm a therapist because then they refrain. I would never like somebody to know I can fix you because
no,
then
no,
you
but
are already got it.
yeah, but it was interesting for me to know that,
Thank
that's
you.
the depth that you go down to. So that gets me to the most important thing that I wanted to ask you, that what kept you grounded with your work? Like, what is that thing that connects you back to your work again and again, your passion?
I always had this sense of third party viewing me. I don't know if that makes sense. I always felt that me, my life, and there's a third party viewing me and my life. So this sense of being watched
Okay.
is very strong in me. And I sometimes, my parents do tell me that I surprise them by remembering things from my childhood, which they know it, but it's not there in the conscious head right away. And I would remember being like 2 year old and going to a certain place and doing something. So I always felt that there is an active agency around me, which makes me record my own life and the sequential growth that I had over a period of time. And that really motivates me. Somehow it just makes me feel like there's so much more that I have to look into because I can watch my life and I can see what I'm doing with my life every day. From childhood till now, I see it like a beautiful design, one thing
Mm-hmm.
leading to the other, and then the other, and then the other. Even a heartbreak, how I evolved over it, that is so exciting for me. So I think the only thing that keeps me grounded to my work is that one, it gave me an opportunity to relate to life more meaningfully. Where I feel there's a purpose every day to meet somebody, or even seeing a butterfly around me. I would love to see why am I seeing a butterfly? Is it a signal?
Okay. Lot of
So
introspection.
yes. So it just makes me feel excited. And dancing has helped me reach out to so many people that I could consciously not make my contact with. Even when I travel, we just dance in middle of a sea or ocean while we were in Serbia. And I just connected to the guide telling that I'm a dance instructor. And she's like, oh, do you know hip hop? I say, yeah, I do. And then we just started dancing on the boat.
How
So,
beautiful. Wow.
so
You
I
got the
have
trump card.
I think so. I love my life. I love my travels because that's what takes me through and through. And that's the point that keeps me grounded, that there's so much more for me to experience from this beautiful unit that I've made. Also the fact that I've never learned dancing.
Hmm.
So I've never been trained into dancing. I've never been trained into a formal, like the
I
stamped
guess
dancer feeling.
I that
Sorry.
certificates are, I said certificates are just, I guess, I don't too much also believe when it comes in something from inside. The beauty that you have there, you can of
How
course
true.
have courses and certificates to maybe enhance and beautify your passion,
Which I
but the
have.
spark
Which I
has to
have.
come from within you.
Yeah. Yeah, but that came very later, like really late in the journey. Earlier, my only question to my mom was, what if somebody asked me, where did you learn that you're teaching now? Like, this was a problem in my head when I started Dance Dacha. And I'm like, if somebody asked me for a certificate, what would I say? Like, where am I teaching from? And that became the strongest point of my life. that I had this treasure box within me, which I wasn't aware of. Every day coming on the floor, I was surprising myself before others. When they used to say, "Oh, we loved your class, Jess. Oh my God, what are you doing?" I just felt like, "Oh, what am I doing?"
I need the answer, yeah, because that's my question too. So okay, give me the answer.
I don't know. I think Babaji is operating with me very strongly, and I want to believe that every day of my life that he is the best educational institution that I could get connected to. And every day, the more I look within, the more I have to give outside. Like I can give more and more.
Do you still have the question with you? That I don't have a certificate if somebody asks me, do you still hold on to that thought?
I think people stopped asking.
Wow.
I think I don't remember a single person asking me. Let's not deny that. I don't remember a single person asking me because they were lured by what was happening on the floor, that they didn't have time to know my verifications. You know?
So you went beyond your fears, I like to put it that way. Yeah?
Yes, I did conquer one of that major fears before I started my professional journey in dancing. Yes.
So yes, that was one of the beautiful things I'd like to take away. And something else that would you like to tell us? Something, some incident, some story that kind of you feel is very beautiful, that people can of course hold on to that and move ahead in their lives if wherever they're stuck.
One, never denied that you are living a life. You know, it's like take acceptance that you are on a vacation called life, and this vacation will have some ups, some downs, some very good moments, some amazing food, some heartbreaks, not being able to go to the place you wanted to go. There'll be somebody cheating on you. There'll be somebody taking extra from you. There'll be somebody who just give it to you. So if you take it like a vacation, which is never, you can't overplan a vacation. You can't say that I know the moment I go to the airport, which taxi will I take? And you can't do that. You're going to kill your vacation like that, right? So the idea of ignorance is something that I felt very important as a lesson in my life. That stay ignorant, but keep exploring. Ignorance is a bliss. It's a bliss.
Says, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what dancing helps me every day, that I'm ignorant of what I'm capable of until I go on the floor. Every time I'm ignorant of what I'm going to do, I have this butterflies in me. I have this anxiety in me before a class, and I always keep talking to me like, what's wrong with me? I know my playlist. I know my moves. I know what I'm going to be doing. Still, I have that anxiety for what? And I have come to terms with the idea, if I don't have anxiety, I'm not there to deliver. My ego is riding high, and my deliverance is going low. So every time you are going, you need to feel like in an exam, if you don't have an anxiety, you're not going to deliver well. So I think that kind of ignorance, that should always stay, that you should not be 100% sure of what you are.
I'm an 8. Okay. I've just some people joining and saying hi to all of them. Yeah.
Hi. So good. So rather than hi, I would better say namaste, Baba. Hi is hi.
Okay.
All right.
Sure,
so good. Namaste, Sat Shri Akal. Kidda? Good. I got again a hi from Manmeet.
Some questions here from JAS. Of course, you can pop in your question here if there is something you want to know.
Definitely.
And so just tell me what, any time in life, I'm sure you are, talking to you, it seems like you're a person who kind of course, doesn't forget, but I feel you have a lot of inner strength that makes you move forward. I mean, you're not the one who'll be like, I don't want to look at it, deny it, and move ahead. But you're somebody who bounces back to life again, and it takes whatever has happened, but you don't want to brood over it. You don't want to linger with it. But still, something in your life ever that you felt low, is it just inside you that you're born like that you just bounce back, you're blessed?
No.
Or is it something that you really consciously make an effort? Or you have some mantra, some trick, something that you do that you just bounce back? What is your...
That's a very interesting and a very thought-provoking question for me right now to say or talk about it. So when I look at my life right now, with your question, I see that there have been times when I have been heartbroken. I have had a nice childhood, so I won't deny that. So it was nice, happy, every childhood that I had. But, when you're too pampered and you're kept in a family structure where you didn't even go to a hostel, you feel everything is going around in a structure, like a structure of 5 people, and you call it a family. and everything good happening to the family is good for you, and whatever is going bad for the family, you feel only the family rules your life. So I realized over a period of time, there was this time when I got my first professional heartbreak, when I got people who cheated on my innocence. Then I had my heartbreak, like the dil wala heartbreak. And then I realized that it was all about betrayal. So I understood the chapter of betrayal, because before that it was very easy to say somebody, oh, come on, come over it. It's not a big deal. What are you making fuss about? He didn't love you and da, and da. And then I realized this is not real. This is not real, because what you go through, you don't need somebody to tell you to overcome it. You want somebody to understand what you're going through and to tell you where to begin, like the first step to begin from there. So I think when life gives you problems, it just makes you stronger. Now, going back to 12th class, I was always the one on the dance floor in the school and annual functions, whatever you may say. Jess is dancing, right? After doing anything, she's always on the floor. And I happened to be in a workshop in a school, and suddenly I fell down, like just fell down without any reason. And I could not get up from there. Nobody could understand what's wrong. My parents were called in, and Dad came, and he took me with support of 3 people, right? Within a minute, I'm talking about what I suffered, and it had a huge impact into my life. From being the dancing soul, or the one, my fame was my dance, So when I got my knees down, it was the fall for my dancing, basically. We went to the doctor, we went to Apollo, everybody said get an MRI done, and I could never believe I had lost both my knees to bad lifestyle and excessive exposure of the knee to dancing without any support or any protection.
How young were you that time?
12, I think 17, 18, okay. Just before college. Yeah, just before, like the peak of you wanting to be the best, Yeah. So that happened, and then we went to the doctors. We referred to 3 doctors, and they all said that my bones were porous because of excessive consumption of Coca-Cola that I used to have. Okay. And yeah, so parents had dealers, and there were a lot of folks coming at home, trays and stuff, and there was no awareness that how bad it can be. So rather than having water, sometimes you would just pick up a Coke and keep drinking Coke, and stuff happened. Okay. I was doing it. Don't deny it, guys. I have to believe I did wrong. So that happened. And then also I used to do a lot of chamma chamma songs and stuff like that. And we used to try to jump from an upper platform to the lower platform just to get claps. You could clap, and I could just feel like, oh my God, I'm relevant. So I kept doing such kind of steps again and again to just get the claps happening. Not realizing कि वो nail नहीं है जो बाहर दिख रहा है blue, वो अंदर भी कुछ कर रहा है, And it kept on for like quite some time. And one of the doctors said it took 4 to 5 years to happen to what has happened now. Okay. So this is like the peak. It's the peak, and it is gone. So they referred me to get the surgery done. Mm-hmm. And within 3 months, they said that I could be better and I could start walking after physio and stuff. Okay. And that was the time when my dad disappointed me in a way, because he said to one of these doctors that she's responsible for losing it, and she will be responsible for getting it back. We are not going to get surgery. She's too young to get a surgery done, and her knee will never be the same, right? Like, she has to fix it up. Right? Yeah, and he was very clear of the fact that I cannot see my 18-year-old in that situation where her knees are not real anymore, Yeah. So that happened, and I felt my dad was the biggest villain at that time, because he didn't understand the pain I was going through. I could not walk. I always had to take support, and I started getting dizzy, because of the knee, your lower spine gets affected. And because of your lower spine, your whole cervical, you get like chakkar, and all of that stuff started happening. And then I used to feel, what is that word? Useless. I felt useless because my fame was dancing, and now I'm useless. So education, everything is good. It's okay. I'm a good child. It's done. But I'm no more famous. I can't do what I like. And over that, Saroj Khan was there in our school to select for Veer Zara at that time, a year before the movie. And I had to crack it. Like, I had to go. And I couldn't because all my team members were selected except the one who leads them. So it is like one blow after the other that I was getting on my face. And one of these doctors in Sector 16 only, he came because I had a chakkar, very major chakkar, and I fell down in the veranda. And he came to check my BP and stuff because I was given a wrong medication, which got my cholesterol high and my BP dropped down. Again, I was a youngster, so no, I didn't have education on what to have, what not to have. So whatever the doctor gave, we just pop in, you know.
Of course, that's what we do.
Yeah.
You were in the hospital, I guess, that time.
No, that didn't let me get admitted for a single day in the hospital. He got me back home, and
So you would
I
go
was
to the
given.
OPD.
Yes,
You would go
yes. So
to
I was given medication and I was given the course what to do and the physio to do to see if the strength is coming back or not. So that happened, and tough days, tough days. Those 1.5 years, very tough days for me. And I started doubting my life. I started doubting that whatever is the most treasured part of my personality is no more with me, and I don't know if I'm going to come back to that again. That strength, because it was so painful at that time.
Yes,
And that
you're
happened.
telling us
And one
about the cholesterol. Sorry, you were telling us about the medicine. Your cholesterol went high, and you kind
Yes,
of
yes.
fainted.
I'm not naming the doctor, but that doctor is my salsa student now. Anyhow,
Okay.
so life comes full circle.
Oh
So
yeah,
good.
that's nice. That's
Yeah. So that
interesting.
happened. This doctor comes in and he tells my mom, which I overheard outside my room, that I think she's getting into depression. That's what he said to my mom. And he said that I think she's weak by her mind for now. And please keep positive atmosphere around in the house and make her feel motivated and stuff. And I felt further useless. you know, One, that
Okay.
I don't have these. And now my family has to entertain me to make me feel like I'm strong, like that I'm not a kid. I know what's happening inside of me. So my ego got hurt at that point of time. And in that bed itself, I started saying, what can I do to fix this up? So from that very next day, I used to go to the bathroom with help, and I used to try to dance and balance to just
Okay.
affirm myself I can do it. Like,
Yes, I think I just lost you for a minute, but yes, we are here.
okay. So that happened, and then over a period of time, I was very particular about my physio, my exercises. I kept hiding and dancing just to keep myself validated, and I really got into the idea of expression because before that I used to just dance. You make me stand, and I will dance. But there was this dead face that I used to have while dancing,
So this
and
is
I
in the
remember
washroom?
my mom. Sorry.
This is in the washroom when you were going to the washroom?
Yeah, I just saw myself because half of the is the wash basin area, and you can just see the upper half. So when you're dancing, I just felt like, what? Why am I dancing? I don't look nice. Why am I dancing? And that's the time when I studied Pina Bose. I studied Madhuri Dixit in detail, and I
Wow.
studied a lot of dancers who were paralyzed and still choreographing dances. And they're doing musicals. So I got an insight at the age of 18 that dancing is not just to perform. It can heal you. And I started healing myself. I saw and I started working on my eyes, saying things and, pulling that muscle in, out, and just seeing, because my mom, I remember every time she used to come and see my performance, she would say, you were good, but that girl was better. But that girl was better. So I used to feel, what am I doing wrong? I remember all the choreographies. I wear the clothes that, they buy, but just never come and say that I was like very good and stuff. And they used to always compare my face to others. Like she was expressing, she was smiling, you weren't. So, stuff, but I could not naturally get that on my performance level. But after that pain that I went through, my dancing evolved. I changed my idea of dancing. And I think I was in MCM when I started earning out of my road track club salsa workshops. So I started teaching in my college itself, and nobody pays you in the college, right? You are the student, so you're not going to be paid for teaching. But I was getting paid, and it was such a high for me. It was just a high, and I saw that there were so many things that I learned during that phase. I really wish I can document it someday. It was really a fascinating period of my life.
But also I wanted to know, so this, before you went to your college and you started teaching there, how much was the time gap between the two? Like,
I think 8 to 9 months is before the college started, but I didn't go and just start dancing. I took like 5, 6 months to orient myself in this college, and this was the second year ending that I started teaching the freshers and stuff
Okay.
like that. So it
Yeah.
took time, but nobody in college knew that I've suffered.
I'm
That
sure.
facade carried me. I didn't let anybody know what my knee was all about and how it still pains or anything. Even in the freshers, I was modeling wearing heels and I was doing everything just to tell myself I'm valid, and
So,
I'm going to bounce back.
so did you come out of everything? Did you do therapy, physiotherapy, everything, and you kind of
Yes,
recovered?
yes. A lot here. There was a lot of blockage here. I think the ego was riding high. I was not very open to suggestions at that age. I saw, and knees are actually the mobilizers. So if you see the metaphysical part of it, which I can only review now, is your knees are supposed to give you mobility for going forward or going backward with ease.
Okay.
you know
Okay.
but when your mind is very stringent about not wanting anybody to say anything to you or pinching you or telling you what's right, it used to really hurt me, at that time, because I was so full of myself in that age.
I know.
So so I understood that it was more of an attitude issue that was given a reminder through knees. And
Okay.
I could correct my attitude, which was the biggest boon of that part of my life, where I just started accepting whatever somebody had to say. At least hear it, even if not accept, keep it and let it work for you.
Yes, but I must say that, you know, the most beautiful thing that I could take away from here is that what you said, that you realized that it wasn't just the body movement. What you
Correct.
learned was also your facial expression combined together.
So
And those
true.
books
So
that you picked up and everything that you picked up, I'm sure probably you would have picked it up later on, but you had that
yes,
time to pick it up. And
that's
now,
true.
now that you're telling me, and you mentioned the name Madhuri Dixit, and when you look at her, so she's so much about expression. There
Absolutely.
is the dance just enhances more when you have the expressions on
So
you.
true. For
So,
example, if we take our example for now, the rendezvous we are going through, we are dancing together, aren't we? Like there has to be expression. You are expressive, I'm expressive. There has to be a rhythm. So your talking tone and my tone is sinking in because that's how the conversation is going around. There has to be movement. I am making all the movements relevant to make my point. Dancing is all about these. So we are constantly dancing. It's just we don't give the credit. We don't give the credit of being in dance, in movement. And that's where a lot of mess happens here.
tell me, how does, like you said, that we are right now in movement, we are talking, we are in a form of expression, or maybe it's through language. What do you think, you've been in this, for the last 10 years,
Mhm.
how has the movement really changed with people, like the
Oh, big
movement
time.
expression,
Big time, big time. I have so many stories to
this
share
or this
here.
ways, it's gone up or it's gone
Oh,
down?
always, always. Even if movement gets you down, it's just to get you the bounce to go back. So dancing, okay, so let's understand dancing. For me, dancing was, so the first platform would be the physical aspect, which is aware, when we all are very well aware of that the physical part has to be taken care of, and you're going to be like strong and nice. And I'm not going to accentuate onto that. The second part, which is very important for me, is the intellectual part of dancing.
Mhm.
So when you are moving, you have the capacity of going into the zone of zero thought process, and also in going to the zone of 100% optimized thought process. So
That
when
is,
you are dancing, what is happening is you're syncing the mind, body, soul. Even
okay.
if I say let's do freestyle. So to do freestyle, you got to free. You can't just stay and do freestyle. No, it won't work. But it's free. So there can be blockages in your chakra, or there can be blockages in your body, which is like maybe you have shoulder pain, a lot of responsibilities to take care of in your life, and you don't feel you have been given credit for. Just an example. So when you have that intellect given a space to just think at that point, either you go into the zero zone, whether you become thoughtless and you become so tired and you're so consumed by the movement that you just go sit and you just are like, I don't have any thoughts to take back. I am so relaxed. I'm so peaceful right now. The other way could be that you do a very thoughtful process of choreographing a dance or learning a dance form. And by just doing a movement, so-called this, but with the strength, with your shoulder strength, it may help you understand how important it is to stop somebody entering in your life when you don't want it. And it works on 10 different levels of your mind, because you're not supposed to do this to people. You're not supposed to say this to people. It's not accepted. So when
Yeah.
you do all of that, what you want to really do? Use your dancing, use your movement, and present it so beautifully that people rejoice it. And your work is done because you have expressed it. Right? There are times when people don't speak what they really want to speak, just
Yes,
because they won't be right anymore.
So tell me
So
the
what
shifts that you've noticed.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I said, tell me the shifts that you've noticed.
Correct. So, what happens is when I am talking that you want to hear, and there is a silent script that stays with me, which I wanted to say, I keep penting it up into my system. And you see people have like very quick, they get throat infections. So they are coughing most of the seasons. With every season change, they will have cough, or a problem. Why is that happening? Because this chakra is really weak. This chakra is not getting the free flow of energy. And when we do classes, we just, we're just shouting like mad people, like, who, ha, hey, ha. You're doing something like taking your tongue out and hanging it in front of 10 people can liberate you in a different way.
Wow. Hi, JAS. Sorry.
That's okay.
We somewhere not being able to dance here in sync right now. Because it's a third
Maybe
party.
we need one dose of dancing.
I swear, the sync is like the third party, the internet is like, I am going to play the bad one here.
Oh, no,
So we
not
try
at all.
to-
Come on. Come
Yes.
on. So I'm going to quickly take this off because this half-baked is tougher to keep it in your head. So I was talking about is that emotionally, none of us get the 100% expression that we aim for. And there's no problem in it because that's how the society trains you to be viable in the system, right? But then you cannot give up on yourself. You can't give up on yourself and you need that expression. What would you do? Either you go and you act or you do theater, but you are everyday acting, so it may not excite you to do further acting. Dancing is something which I see like, let's go back in Adam and Eve's time. How are they communicating? The only way they could communicate is by making gesture, by making sounds, or by just having a movement to show that I'm picking up water or something. So they were dancing. Existence knows dancing as a primordial form of expression. Anywhere you research, dancing is not a new phenomena that came in, or Jasmeet is doing something that the world or the mankind didn't know. It's something that we all were born with. And I always tell this in every seminar, in every talk of mine, that I see dancing coming as you were born. So even when the mother conceives a child, the dancing begins from that particular moment, from the thought that she wants to have a child. So she starts sensing, she starts telling her body that I need to be prepared to keep my womb in a condition that a child can be formed. Then the kind of relationship she builds up around her family or around her husband, or that willingness to share her body to get a new soul, that's an amazing choreography to go through. Even a child which is made up during the mode of celebration, and a person who's a child which is conceived in pain, in disapproval, you can see the foundation is very weak for a child when they are born. It's not that you are responsible or somebody is responsible. It's the time of conception that his soul didn't get the real energy to come through. So this starts that early, and then when the child is born, even at the operation table, it's a beautiful choreography that is happening, because when the child comes out of the womb, the first thing you will judge a child to be healthy is if he cries. If he doesn't cry, you won't see it normal. So his rhythm, his sound is ooh and ooh and. He will never say ooing. He will never go down. He will always open. The decibel is opening.
Wow.
You see you see a child out of the womb, he will never hug himself. He will always open, So the sound is ooh, the movement is opening up, and you see distress on his face. Why? Because he was in a closed, dark area. and he's been taken out of that area, so he's trying to understand what's happening. So his expression is intact, so your rhythm is intact, your movement is intact, your expression is intact. What are you doing? You're dancing. And
And
we
then
take all our life to forget that we can dance.
And then, do you take, like, for you, dancing, your studio here is just as a form of expression, or do you have a segment of it that you take dance as therapy also? Do you have something? Are you focusing on that? Do you doing something?
So So the injection that is very exciting for everybody is dancing. So I inject that first, and then I go to the second level of seeing where they are lacking something or where there is something that we can contribute onto. So my only way of connecting is movement. First, if you are comfortable moving with me, automatically you're comfortable opening your mind to me, and then automatically your soul comes to a comfort zone of letting it out. And I love this process. I would never want, on the very first day when you come for the dance lesson, I bombard you with saying, I see something funny happening in your life. Even if I do, I would love to take them to a comfort zone where they become transparent to their own make, and then it's beautiful journey to find solutions together, when you feel motivated.
So, like nowadays, the mental health is kind of catching up with everybody, and it's a good sign because everybody is coming to awareness of it. Otherwise, it was just one odd thing, but finally, people are coming that it is something that you need to look at. So, coming from my point, coming from there, when I get calls every day and I see people distressed with like everything under the sun, and
True.
sometimes I feel something as simple as, maybe cooking, painting, or when it comes to dance, is such a big therapy.
So
So
true.
how I think it's I'm sure you might be doing it at your part also, but sometimes I do want to tell people that take it up as a therapy, take it up
How
as a
true.
pill. You need to do that. Paint, not because I'm saying take it up as a pill. Take up cooking as a pill because that's what's going to really impact you. And what I really liked, everything what you spoke today, was that of course there's dancing and it's just not body movement, it is just not
So true.
passing your time, it's just not learning a new skill, but the depths of it and
So
how
true.
can it impact you at so many layers, right
So
from your
true.
body movement to your expression to everything that you got inside you is coming out at the floor. So I think somewhere maybe the floor at that time becomes your space for catharsis, and you're able to
Absolutely.
get it out. So,
Absolutely.
according to you, like how I'd like to wrap it up or sum it up here is that according to you, how important, what is the role that dancing really plays when it comes to mental health? Like
Oh,
how
that's the
how
most
important?
fascinating part of this whole thing that I would love to talk about, because the only villain in our life is the best friend, our mind. So rather than using it as a best friend, we make it a villain, and then we keep fixing it up the whole life. Like, I have to fix my thoughts, I have to fix my awareness levels. So the first idea is just accept that you are capable of being weird. You're capable of being confused. You're capable of not knowing everything. So once you get that humbleness of knowing that you can have all of this as a part of you, you will love to indulge into it. I never tried to hide this. I was the most confused kid all my life. And I loved, because I had plan A and plan B always. Like, I always wanted to do this and this and this and this. So this didn't work. At least I had something to jump onto. Like, I was not taken unaware. Like, what am I going to do now? And what is very important for us to understand in today's life is that this thing which is here occupying this area of your body is also an organ.
Mm-hmm.
So please understand that if we have a problem in your elbow or in your shoulder or in your thigh, you go to a doctor or
Yes.
you go to a therapist, you go to somebody to fix you up. So if you're not able to deal with this organ well, what is wrong to go and talk it about to a person who can help you? Take it very easy. It's nothing very important for you to hide or to deal with it. When I have this client of mine, she kept hiding. She was clinically depressed for 15 years. And every time she came, you could see her, in one extreme of happiness to suddenly being too sad like a baby, and then she wanted to be taken care of, and she felt so miserable. Like, and every time we asked her, "Is everything okay?" Yes, 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 everything is fine. It's perfect. Like, she used to get scared that I should not be exposed or my facade should not fall apart. So this is something that we need to understand. Please accept you're not perfect. And perfection is a death sentence. If you're perfect, you are giving yourself death sentence every day, because life is about commas, it's not about full stops. So once you are perfect, you put a full stop. And when you put a full stop, your learning stops, your growth stops, your understanding stops. Life is only about just keep putting commas. Oh, I know this and, or okay. And when you have that kind of energy, you're more accepting to your make. And once you're more accepting to your make, you're accepting to everybody around you, because they're different makes. They're not just one make. Every time I see somebody who wants to complain that I'm stressed out, I'm depressed, who is asking you to go to that level? Is because you don't see how valuable you are. The moment you start seeing yourself, I'm not worthy of anything, anybody can run through your mind, run through your mind. So you need to know where you need to stop. You need to know when to say no. You need to know that you need me time.
Okay.
A lot of people suffer from mental illness because they have no time for self introspection. They have no time to see. Yes,
Self-love, I
yes.
call it.
So true, so true. You can't love yourself. How many times do you hug yourself in the day? How many times have you felt your body?
And dancing makes
You
you do all of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. It makes you touch the places that you've never touched. And you want somebody to touch you in a way that you can feel good. No, it can never work. I can hug you. Maybe you feel very good about that hug, but that is temporary. You need to feel that hug for yourself. Every time you feel sad, just hug yourself. Say, I'm so valuable, Baba. What am I thinking?
Yes.
These small actions, these small things of consideration can get you in a very beautiful physical and a mental space.
I am
You know?
sure.
So I
And
think, yeah, I can go on and on with this. I'm sorry.
no, no, but this is what I want, because this is the same thing that I talk to people, and sometimes, of course, being a therapist or being a counselor, people do listen to you, but I want them, and I tell them that there are a lot of people outside. Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know, and then coming the beauty from there, the afterwards.
So true.
Like I
So true.
always talk about that. I keep reading about a lot of gurus and saints, and I would read an entire book, and the last chapter would be like, so this is how Nanak attained enlightenment, and so this is how Buddha attained enlightenment, and the book finishes. And I'm like, but what after that? You know,
What's for
what,
me?
yeah, I mean, okay, but what is the experience and what is the expression after that? But
How
like
true.
it took me a lot of time to come to the nothingness that happens after that.
If
Yeah,
you allow
that
me, I would love to contribute here, because you said something very interesting about Guru Nanak and all this idealizing the stuff that things that happen because you read my book, so maybe you're capable of, becoming that enlightened soul. It's something that we need to understand. Michael Jackson didn't become Michael Jackson because he was following JAS, right? Madhuri Dixit didn't become Madhuri Dixit. How do you think, if you don't try out yourself in this life, how will you be unique? Something works for something. Not everything works for everything. I may say, okay, let's do Yog Nidra, and then you will relax your body. Maybe at that Yog Nidra, you just become very uncomfortable. So accept that it's not important to give up on not doing things, but do and then give up. No,
yeah, have the
it's okay.
experience. Have the
Correct,
experience.
correct, correct. You don't know Italy exists. When will you book the ticket? You don't know it. So it's knowingness is more beautiful than doing it sometimes. Just know it. Just know it. I know Greece exists. I know it. Maybe I want to go. Maybe.
It how you I remember you telling me that when you were in class 12, so you had that episode, you had that accident, and before that you were like incomplete. So you said that, you felt probably I have a full stop and I'm done about it. And then
So
the
true.
entire flood of realization came in, from books to introspection to the body and the thought connects, that, you realize that knees are the mobility and you could not move. And coming down to the point now, your take, the thing that grounds you now is that what is next? What is
What's
it?
next? Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
that's what I said, that you read a book, but okay, now what after that? So, okay, just experienced all of that. And how I really like to wrap it up is, initially when we just started this conversation, you said that what really motivates you is that you feel that nothing is enough. You want to experience more,
Yeah,
you want to experience
yeah.
more, you think that there is no full stop. And there was a time when you had put a full stop, and then you jumped over it to this endless space. So this
That's
is,
true.
I think, this is a lot of people who are listening. Then a lot of people who will, of course, get influenced by it. Is that how sometimes our own limitations actually help us grow? They actually take us beyond that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's somebody I just saw here by her name. It's not the person that I'm talking about, but by her name, I remember one of my clients, which I'm very sure that most of you can relate to, is because of the full stop that you were talking. The full
Yeah.
stop that you put. I had put a full stop in the concept of love. I thought I knew everything about love, and I
Wow.
understand love more than people around me. And I'm talking 2017, so it's not too
Far
old
away.
either, right? And I started feeling that urge to be in love, and I was preparing my mind and soul for a year that I want to fall in love and I want to feel love and see the magic it can create. Because before that, I was too full of my life and my missions and my ideas, right? And then I did fall in love. When I fell in love, there's something very critical here, okay? So I fell in love and I got the biggest lesson of betrayal in love. I fell in love with somebody who had already got married, but he never told me about that. So it was something that, when you're working with people, you can just see and you can judge who is who after a while. And I used to feel very good about that aspect of me, and I thought I am not going to be fooled, or that confidence has again. This is what happened again when I had lost my knees. So that ego was creeping in. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But I felt I master love and I understand. I counsel so many people about love, so I understand it. So this is a 6 months program of betrayal that I went through.
Program. Okay.
Yeah, so that was another course I did in love, and that was a living course. And when I did that, I realized when that things fell apart, like the final time when your safe ego was but butchered, and you just felt like you have nowhere to refer to because all your love education has fallen apart. What you saw looked absolutely beautiful, and what you are into is not relatable. So it was an extreme. I was not even given the answers because it was a betrayal, right? So I felt that the logic also fell apart, like which I survive on. Every time I survive on logic, that what if I do good, I get good. If I do this, so everything went apart, right? And this is very recent learning I'm talking about. So anybody who's dealing with love or feeling the pain, please understand it's all self-created. I was wanting love, but at my workspace, my mind space, I was experiencing monotony, right? And that I wanted to overcome with love that monotony as an escape.
Okay, you want to
So
fill
I
it.
stopped growing. Yes, I wanted to fill it. And so I've stopped growing myself here. I wanted to stay here. I wanted an intervention to come in my life so that I forget that I have to grow and I can just be
Okay.
taken care of. Yeah. And that happened. And this is a learning after the betrayal. So I'm not talking about I was wise enough at that time. I learned it after my betrayal that my mind was not ready to experiment anymore. And I started betraying myself at my work, which
Okay.
I considered sacred. I considered my work sacred. So I basically punctured my sacred soul
But
by
probably,
cheating.
maybe, weren't you taking time, probably, in a way, to heal yourself? And
I thought like that too, that I wanted to ease out and, I'm doing too much. I've opened so many things and I'm always available to people. And it started pinching me at a time But the idea was rather than solving it, I used to go for vacations.
Okay.
Every time I used to come back, I was in the same problem. The problem is not going. It's just I escape. I just think I'm taking me time and I'm going out and I'm having fun, and I come back and the Punjabi word, the siapas have increased.
Okay.
And and I started feeling that this monotony was pulling me down each day, and in that time I attracted an energy
Okay.
in and around because I was betraying my sacred zone. Automatically, what you attract your tribe.
Okay.
So I was wanting something very badly, which is love, to come and pamper, and I was wanting an escape badly. So it fixed in.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's like a magnet. You get that energy, what you contribute to. And I used to every day feel bad that, I'm not putting 100% to my work. I don't feel like doing this. I don't want to do this project, XYZ, because I was escaping. I was not solving. So this gentleman was a classic example, a reflection to what just was at that point of time in her life. He just came as a mirror.
So how did you move out from
Look at
that?
that heaviness that you felt.
I know, just look at that. I think I was trying to get a very, very apt word for it. I could just relate to what you must have gone through emotionally. So I was like, what's the thing that I can say? That how did you move out
Yeah.
of that XYZ?
I won't say it was easy. I will never say it was easy. But I recognized within 2 months of getting no answers to what had happened that this is something that was made for me. It was custom made for me, because if I want to talk, because everybody around me who knew us, they felt we were perfect, like the picture perfect, right? And the kind of he was a Piscean, so he believed in fantasy, and he could give me fantasy, correct? And I'm totally logical world, right? I'm from that balanced world, the logic and everything. And I just felt very enamored. Wow, like, oh really? This can also, oh wow, that feeling. And that feeling was so enamoring that I stopped putting logic in place.
Okay.
So when he revealed, because we went serious in like 2-3 months, and I'm very accustomed to the fact that if you like it, then believe in it, and then just move ahead in it. So when I expressed that if this has potential, let's go and do it, right? And there is where he revealed that he's already married, and he didn't have the courage to tell me, and he's lured by my presence and XYZ. And then I realized that I have to move back. I have to go back to my zone. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And I don't want to say it to anybody who's going through heartbreaks that it's easy. But what I want you to realize is that how about seeing it as a custom made project for you to reflect to what you are actually wanting for yourself? Because half of the time you are reflecting your energy in the other person. That's the reason why you resonate. There's something called the yin and the yang, or the twin flame, or I'm not going even further in that concept, but I'm talking about you come together only because there's some pull and push, right? So you need to, Hanji.
No, but also need to come to that understanding, to come to that level of, stability, grounding, to have an understanding that this was for me. Not having
I
the
think
bitter
that
part
comes
of,
from self love that you mentioned. That definitely
I
comes
think
from
so.
self love. If you can grant yourself because somebody was not good to you, then that means you don't love yourself. Like it's okay to feel miserable about myself and go down the deep road where you can never come back from.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't come to an acceptance of that also. Like, whatever is happening is for your growth. So a lot of people are like, why would bad things, I would choose bad things for my growth. So, of course, it takes a while. Of course, a lot of
And
counseling,
also
a lot
this line that is known to everybody, but we don't acknowledge that we have come alone, we'll go alone. This line has a lot of potentiality. If we understand that we are alone in this journey, nobody is going along, only my soul will grow and go.
yes,
So this is an opportunity.
but coming to that level of depth and understanding,
Yeah.
coming to that realization that this is something that I need to learn from. It is a whole different level of mental awareness, I would call. You know,
I
And
should
not,
believe you, yes.
yes, because a lot of that's the point that I like to touch on, the mental strength that somebody has. Only if you have a very calm, composed, centered mind will you look beyond the emotions
The
of,
situation. Mm.
and the small emotions that pull you down, and look at the
So
larger
true.
picture, what I'm going to learn from here.
So true.
And also
Because
when you
that's
say,
again like any other muscle in your body. You need to put some weight onto your muscle to get that tone. So even if I want to get the bicep, I need to pull some muscle. And what is that muscle? Muscles are situations. Make your muscle strong.
I said, yeah,
Oh,
that's
you.
a nice way that you put it. I'm sure a lot of people can connect to it that way. And yes, coming back to my topic about how you think that dance and mental health are related, and I can see it from your, your entire talk that we had, that every movement that you are doing is coming from a thought, and every movement
Absolutely.
that you are doing, it is reflecting back to your thought.
So
Be it
true.
aggression, be it calmness, be it in the face. So all of that are emotions. This is an emotion of
Beautiful,
being
yes.
calm. Yeah, this is an emotion. So all the emotions are basically packed up into your mental
Intertwined.
health
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
your physical
yes.
things.
Wow,
Thank
yeah.
you so much, Jas. Thank you
It's a
so much.
pleasure to be here today with you. It's always a pleasure to be around you.
Thank you so much, Jas. And sorry for the
Thank you.
dropouts that I kept having in the middle. Thank you for sharing your
Absolutely not a
views,
problem.
stories, and honestly, believe me, there's a lot that I really learned. Of course, I know you're a beautiful soul and you learn, you are
Thank you.
running this beautiful space, but I
Thank
didn't
you.
know the name. How did you get the name? I've never thought of asking you. It is so beautiful. And how you
Uh,
put in that that's a second home for people. There's a home, and then there's office, and there's this is second
Absolutely.
home for them. And
The
how
middle ground.
the middle ground, and how too much of how you thought that there's movement in everything,
True.
how
True.
this is so beautiful for somebody to connect to the passion to that level. This was really beautiful for me to understand that for you everything is movement. For you, you living dance. Like now when you say I live dance, I breathe dance, I walk dance, I know now what you mean by that. Yes,
That
everything is
somebody asked
dance.
me just why you write dance through abundance. I said because I've seen abundance through dancing. It's so simple a sentence, right? You see abundance because you're moving constantly.
I'm sure. And then I know now when you say you live dance, and yeah, I can now put, whenever I hear those, I'll be hearing you again in my mind with all of those
Yeah.
things.
Thank you.
Thank you so
You
much.
helped me
And
reaffirm it today again. Thank you.
thank you. And thank you to everybody who joined in. Anybody has
Yes.
any questions, please, you can connect to JAS. It'll be really nice if you could also go and, you know, move your emotions at her studio. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Keep moving. Keep moving.
Thank you,
Just keep
everyone. Thank
moving.
you.
Thank you. Good
Thank you,
luck.
Jas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye
See
bye.
ya.
See ya.